I want to ask you about factionalism. And factionalism is very important. And the reason why I say it's important is because with a layer one community like Hex and PulseChain, especially when the leader is quasi absent, a lot of cryptocurrencies have a figurehead. Cardano, Charles Hoskinson; Ethereum, Vitalik; BNB, CZ; PulseChain, Hex, Richard Hart; Tron. I don't know if he's still. I don't know if Justin Sun's still with Tron. To be honest, I really don't. My point being, though, is that cryptocurrency conveys decentralization, but from a human sociological and psychological standpoint, it's very hierarchical, and there's a lot of, I don't want to use the word dependency or reliancy, but there's a lot of hope in the appearance of a figurehead. And as a result of Richard's absence, I feel like a lot of factionalism has taken place. There's a lot of new, and I don't say factionalism necessarily as a bad thing. So I want to ask your perspective surrounding the factionalism that's happening. It seems like negatively, so many people are at odds over each other over what sub-community you're in, or are you just focused on the 4 coins that Richard made, or do we really can PulseChain succeed with just Hex, or no, we need sub-communities and meme coins and stable coins. Do you see this as a byproduct, this negative aspect of factionalism as a byproduct of Richard Hart no longer being, as of right now, like that figurehead of the consensus of the community? Do you think the community, as a result of this, is proving that that maybe we were too reliant on him? Is there a lesson to be had here? Like, I want to hear your perspective on that, because you've been in this community a lot longer than me. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
I think the factionalism is, Crypto Sloth had a tweet on this the other day where he talked about it a little bit. And again, he said not a good thing, not a bad thing. It's just kind of an observation of just people, especially with PulseChain, coming into the community, building products, supporting what they want to support, whether it's those products or how they interact with other things on the chain. But everyone having, I still think that even if next year or 2 years from now, we see, wow, there's literally like the, PHUX crowd, or the buck guys, and girls, and you have, I don't know, you have the HEX Maxis, and you have just builders of PulseChain, generally speaking, who don't really identify. That's something that I try to do, other than identifying with RHMax, his ideals, his products, and stuff like that, and still supporting the blue things that I think are good for the ecosystem. I think that eventually I can see people kind of figuring out, like, do I want to identify with a certain group, or do I just kind of want to be around? And I think there's pros and cons with both of those. I think for myself, that's one thing I try not to do, is like join groups, honestly. I try to, I don't have my own group. I don't like to, it's not that I don't support the ideals or want to engage. It's just, I try to unbias myself a little bit, and and I try to really be precise where I put my energy.
Of course.
So I think those decisions are coming up for people though too, because there are going to be these, you may get like certain factions of PulseChain Twitter that are just like, hey, this particular product, I love this thing, I love meme coins. There'll probably be like meme coin, PulseChain Twitter. There'll be like these subgroups as well. So I think the factions are okay, honestly. I think they, as long as they tie together. So, okay, I guess you could think about this 2 ways. So, like, what are the pros and cons of having factionalization in the community, where there's different people with different ideals who try to stick to their particular groups or form some sort of consensus around their ideals and products within the ecosystem? As long as we're all incentivized and kind of strung together, strung in kind of like a spider webs, where we're all like sort of still connected. We're still interconnected with the ideals and the ethos and the no expectations, no admin keys, and we're still like building for PulseChain. It'd be kind of weird if people were creating new L1s and stuff. We're like, you know what? Let's put, do that. I don't know. I think L2s might be a cool thing on PulseChain, but as long as it's not taking away from the blue chips and taking away, becoming something completely different. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe if the identity doesn't change, if we still identify as, being part of the ecosystem that wants to achieve, we like price performance, we like decentralization, we like centralization with prices. Okay, you're okay with that. If you like HEX and all that stuff, you gotta take those things into consideration. But I think it'll be more of, instead of this one group, this one group that just kind of like looks up and says, okay, RH, what's going on? We become this like different people with different ideas. However, we are still connected and still help each other and still, our positive feedback loops with the different factions too.
Right.
And there'll still be infighting, there'll still be this and that, but
of course,
I think there could be a healthy version of that. I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. Can it be a bad thing? Yeah. I mean, the factions could isolate themselves so much that why are we even still here? Why are we still building on PulseChain? Why don't we build on something else? And they'll start, going somewhere else. So I think we don't want to lose people. We don't want to lose factions. So I think that those connections are important. So I would hope people value that. And I hope people, I certainly do. I go out of my way to not fight on Twitter. I go out of my way to not ad hominem people on channel. Like, I think I definitely have the intellect and the ability to come up with clever ways of describing people that may be funny, but also demeaning. And I just try not to do it because I'm like, I want us to stay together. I want this community to be full of people with different ideas, but they share common goals. So I think that's hopefully people keep that in mind when they're having discussions and otherwise, drama will continue until some people leave. Some people will leave because they just don't want to deal with it anymore. And that would be unfortunate. So I don't want that to happen.
Neither do I. And